IVM.
Hey everybody, quick request once again, if you could help us out by filling out our survey. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. This really helps us talk to advertisers about the kinds of people listening to these shows. Really do appreciate your help, and we're going to be doing a random drawing, and we'll be sending out some IVM swag. Hope you enjoy that.
I'm running out of ways to start this episode.
I know. It's very, very evident.
Oh my God. Hi, Sunetro.
Hi.
Welcome to what could possibly be
What is going to be the last episode? I mean, come on. This will be the last episode of the year. And
GAYBCD wrapped, like Spotify.
Yeah.
We'll be like.
But yeah, I think we got a perfect segue because you don't know how to start an episode. So why don't we start with, how do you want to start your year? Let's just talk about 2021, because 2020 has been such a beautiful year, right?
It's been amazing.
Garbage fire of a year. I swear to God, even if someone has had a good year, if that person comes in front of me and says, "Oh, I've had a decent year," motherfuck, save him.
Oh my God. Okay. So
I
should
swear
not
to God.
at all.
What?
I've not had a good year. Nobody's had a good year, but...
Yeah, don't say it's, you know what? I know the world is having a horrible year, but I had a great year. If someone says
I'm not going to say that, because obviously I don't feel great about the fact that so many people have died. Millions, right? How many?
Yeah.
In total, millions, yeah? Millions of people have died. And I don't feel great about that. But I feel like this was one of those closer to kind of an apocalyptic setting that I can dream, not dream of, but this was the closest it gets to a global event where everything came to a standstill.
I could do without it. I could do without it, honestly.
I don't know. I find it, I won't say it was great or nice or anything, but I found it very thrilling, not thrilling, but it was an adventure of its own.
So I'll let the audience be the judge, jury, and executioner on that.
But, and you know where I'm coming from, right? When Squid was not well, for me to see Bombay empty, the streets empty every day, that kind of stuff I used to find fascinating. Okay, not thrilling. I used to find fascinating how my entire idea of freedom entirely changed this year. So
I'll tell you what how I view this year. Okay. I went through ups and downs of my own. I'm sure that, when you compare your own ups and downs to, you'll always find you'll always find perspective. You'll always compare. Yeah. Once you compare, you'll kind of find yours to be,
you had it
maybe more more manageable and stuff like that. And I think that was one thing that I kind of learned, to stop hanging on to. Of course, life deals you really, really difficult cards, and but then it is what it is, and what you're going to do about it. What can you do about it? Sometimes there are things that aren't under your control, and I fought it for the longest time. There were a lot of things which for me, I kind of said, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to put it on a pause, and when things come back to normal, that's when I'll kind of address it. And then that pause never ended. And that's when I figured out that, you can't, this is not under your control. So if you needed to do something, just go ahead and do it, because don't tempt fate. It's not, fate's a tricky person. Totally. Yeah. So I think I see it that way. And the second thing that I kind of figured this year was that, what happens with you being pushed to your brink in terms of, I've been very fortunate in terms of physical and physiological health. I've been fine. I've been very, very fortunate this year. But when it came to psychological health and mental health, when you're pushed to your brink, when you're pushed to your limits, amazing things happen. Amazing things can happen. I'm not saying it's like a sure shot thing, but amazing things can happen if the right people help you out, if the right advice comes to you. There are a lot of ifs and buts over there, but I did get those elements and pieces and playing pieces that came together, and my perspective on a lot of things changed. I think I it changed me for, I don't know, for better or for worse, but I'm a very, very different person today. I am a very extremely different person today. I mean, and what I'm seeing from, when it comes to a lot of people around me, I've started meeting people. Everyone's changed. And
I know what you mean. Yeah.
More often than not for the better. People have become easier. People have become more respectful. People have become more, aware of who they are. What's
vulnerable. I felt like little I've been hanging out with my friends, I feel like, everyone's so much more vulnerable
and comfortable with that. And that's, to me, that's a great thing, a step in the right direction. So, I mean, like, what
I'm glad you said perspective. It's been a great year for perspective for everyone, because people have made life changes, this year. Like, again, I brought it up last time, but my best friend is moving out of the city, and I myself was like in this total, oh my God, I'm jobless. But at the same time, I was kind of enjoying the joblessness this time, in terms of like being out of the rat race for a while, and your landlord also says, you know what, don't pay rent for a few months. Like those kind of things were like, it was surreal. I have to say, and I kind of enjoyed the surrealness of it. But I have to say, like, it's not ended. Yeah, the year has not ended, and the pandemic has not ended.
Yeah.
But I feel so bleak about. Bleak is the wrong word, but I feel like, hey, what is going on now? Like, are we serious? Are we not serious? I have no definite ending to this, whatever this was. And maybe that's because it's not ended yet.
Of course, yeah. No, and it's a very strange sort of, out of body experience right now, because you're seeing the beginning of the end, because you're seeing vaccines being administered on screen to like people, and that it's coming to an end soon, but like you don't know when, like you don't know kab aayega, yahan pe kab aayega yaar. I mean, what's going to be the like for a government that has been so bloody inept. I mean, how are they going to manage the most basic thing, that is, vaccine distribution in a country like this, a government that couldn't even manage taking care of all its people? How will they manage this? So it kind of, it's like a weird place to be in, where you're neither here nor there, because things
I'm
are
not kidding. I was just heading to my friends on Saturday this weekend. I was just heading to my friend's place, and I got stuck in a traffic jam. And I think it was my first traffic jam since the pandemic.
Well, every time I've stepped out, I've been in a
out of place.
I mean, every single time I stepped out, I've been in a traffic jam, to be honest.
No, I don't mean to say that, everything's gone back to normal, but it just felt like, wait, was this my life before? Like, was Bombay like this before? Even though I've been stuck in like a trillion traffic jams living in this city. Every commute is a traffic jam. But it's just those little things that kind of made it a queer year. The year itself was a little odd for me. Like, it's such an odd year to have lived. Odd is how I'd summarize it then. Yeah.
So tell me, like, one big thing, one big change in Farhad 2019 and 2020. Like, let's say Farhad in like January 2020 or Feb 2020, and now when you see yourself in December 2020, one massive thing that's kind of very distinctively, very, very tangibly, that's changed within you.
All the fears that I lived with prior to this year, in some way, when like being a germaphobe or like constantly feeling I'm on the brink of like financial ruin, or those kind of things. They all came true this year. But how I tackled them was not when I used to stress or be anxious about these things. I used to feel like, oh my God, how will I deal with this? I won't be in a position to deal with this. It'll really wreck me and it'll really this. Like I constantly did that. But when it actually happened, I am surprised in myself at how well I tackled the situation. And not only tackled, I'm here saying that it was an oddly cute, I don't know, not a cute year. That's
not cute. I mean,
it's not cute, but like a perspective gaining year. And I felt like, wow, I'll give you a parallel example. This happened with my dad also. Like basically my entire life, not entire life, but at least the last 10 years, my dad has really aged a lot, right? Now he's 78 and stuff. Like, I really constantly kept worrying, oh my God, now I'll get the call that he's fallen or he's no more. And, I constantly stress until 2 years ago when my dad actually met with a bike accident. And it was like a horrible situation, but I found myself dealing with it in a very adult way. And it totally showed me that how I imagine I will respond to a situation and how I actually respond to it are entirely different. So I should probably not stress in the first place. And that's one big thing I've learned, to not stress about things. So, even when, oh shit, I lost my job. Oh no, my other freelance gig went. Oh no, my other freelance gig is gone. When that started happening in the start, my fears are getting confirmed. Like, oh my God, does this mean I have to move out of the city? How will I afford rent? Squid fell sick. How will I do this? How will I do that? But I just naturally felt like everything started falling into place. That's one. And secondly, I've said this before, but I am a misery loves company kind of person. And to see that the entire world has got that kind of same jolt and shock, it kind of like totally helped me. It was like you met with an accident, but the airbag saved you. Like, I don't know how to say it. But I really felt like I wasn't like stumped or shocked. And I was optimistic in a sense that towards the fag end, which is November, I did get finally, after 6 months of joblessness, I did get a new job. I am kind of financially sound again right now. In fact, I'm going to be a little unnecessarily but I thought I should treat myself because I've not treated myself in years to anything. I bought myself a fantastic new television.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I knew that 2021 is going to be a good year. Like, I'm going to consume things better. I'm not much of a traveler and all that. I just thought, like, you know what? I watch the best films. I watch the best TV shows.
Might as well make it a good experience.
I play video games a lot. Why don't you get yourself something that you'll really value? And
that's lovely.
A fantastic television. Way out of my budget. But again, I had a friend. That's okay,
yeah.
I had a friend. He was like, listen, because if I used his card, I would get a solid discount on the TV because he has an Amex. I don't. Whatever. So I have to pay my friend back. I've already paid him most of the money back. The TV, I have to just, it all fell into place. I just felt like something, even though the world went drastically south this year, I felt like in miraculous ways, things also kept working out. Today, for me to sit here and say that I was COVID negative throughout, even though I was constantly stressed that I might be, for me to financially again find some footing. And this is not to rob or make anyone else feel like if they have not had that kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't want to gloat that everything fell into place, because I know people have lost fucking parents and people have lost siblings, and it's a fuck all year. I cannot emphasize enough on that. But somehow this is the year that I learned that little cliched saying that a lotus grows in a mud pond. What is that? Kichal mein ugta hai types.
Yeah.
I really felt that this year. That, oh my God, I'm in Kichal, but I'm a lotus, bro. So that's my summary. 2019 I was human. 2020 I'm a lotus.
Great.
That's my comparison. Have you had any such epiphanies? Like,
a couple. I mean, but epiphanies. I mean, what do you mean by epiphany?
Any such realizations about yourself, about a kind of contrast in who you were and who you are now?
Okay, so so one of the things I kind of realized was one of the biggest triggers for anxiety was the idea that I will be anxious.
Yeah.
So the idea that I'm going to be in a situation that can potentially give me anxiety was like it was like, why am I doubling up on the anxiety? Let that thing happen to me, and then we'll see how it works out. And just, I mean, it's not like my anxiety was, took a vacation, but what ended up happening was, it's like, a good parallel would be listening to a song that you choke up to, that makes you, that kind of hurts you because you have painful memories. And our first reaction is to shut that song off. But then when you see it through, and when you let your emotions sort of, go through the whole cycle, you feel lighter and you feel better. And I think that was one realization I had, that was that go through it. It's all right. Just don't be so high strung about I have to fight this anxiety. Think about managing it. And the other thing was the idea of accumulation versus divesting. Like, that's something that this year kind of really, I'm not a hoarder, but I like things. I like some, I like treating myself every now and then to certain things. But it's just that after a point, I just felt like because like I never needed much this year, the idea of a want versus need became all the more clear to me. And if something isn't, let your life be about needs, and keep like 10 to 20% wants, and more than that is just excess. And do you really need that much of an excess? And as a result of that, like cleaning out, like I Marie Kondoed the shit out of my life. Like, it's not just things, also experiences and
people.
Well, I mean, actually, I reignited my relationship with a lot more people. I would say I have a bigger circle than what, and by circle I don't mean just wishy-washy circle. I really mean like ride and die circle, and that's kind of expanded because of because the time kind of just made sense for us to reconnect in all of that.
Exactly.
So I think the important things, the idea of being okay to ask for things that you feel, and also there are some wants that we don't realize are actually needs, and it's okay to look at that and say, yes, this is a need, and I'm okay with this need. And and just being very honest about yourself, to yourself, because you're stripped of artifice, during this time.
Exactly.
You're stripped of.
I just want to add something to that, which is I saw things the way they were after ages. And I really feel like this virus helped me do that, this year. Like because to think of it, right? Again, I did reach a very suicidal phase in this lockdown. I did reach like the pits of despair repeatedly in terms of bipolar or whatever. But I just oddly found myself, I just felt like no matter how rough it got, like there was some kind of seatbelt that kept me steady. Like, I just felt like I was in a proper, nicely packed brace, and nothing was really sticking. Everything just washed off me. Everything ricocheted off me, even though it was constantly coming at me repeatedly. I don't know what it is, and I don't have a word for it, but I constantly felt like there was a big, the world went again it went so south that the everything's going to be okay also got very big in my head. I don't know how that works, but somehow the worse it got, the more, hey, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. I don't know if it was like some kind of response to, like some psychological response to shock or whatever it is. But I really felt like I constantly felt padded and guarded because I knew that everybody is going through it. Everybody is going through it. It really helped me. That at least helped me a lot of times. And I say that in therapy, kind of in a guilty way. But my therapist is like, it's totally fine to feel that, you know. When I said misery loves company, even my therapist was very like, what's wrong with that? You know, like, okay, if you feel that you are better because everybody is also not doing as good as you are, then that's fine. That's a sense of community in itself also sometimes. So I feel like that really enriched me as an individual this year, at least. I really feel it, and it's like a great learning to live the rest of my life post-pandemic or post-COVID, you know, like, and I hope it's happened to some degree or for everyone. And like you said, I literally noticed that in a lot of my friends. I noticed that too. Like,
you know, I want to recoin the misery loves company. I think it's just shared trauma. Like, I think that's
exactly.
It's just that, because when it's shared trauma, you kind of understand in the smallest way what the other person's going through, and it just helps. There is a kinship that you can't explain. So I agree. If someone feels guilty, please don't, because it's not about you gloating about someone else's misery. It's just that you know that someone else understands the you're not alone. Like, someone else understands this too.
In fact, yesterday only I was thinking about, I was reading about this somewhere, where how the term "we all are in the same boat."
Yeah.
Okay. If you apply it to the movie Titanic or the situation of the Titanic, it actually is like one of the worst phrases out there. Because on the Titanic, the rich got off first. You know, like, it's actually nobody was on the same boat. Everybody realized that, holy shit, like, there are solid demarcations, there are solid like differences and divisions between people.
Well, this is exactly that. I mean, the rich kind of, I wouldn't say swum through it, but like, it was easier for them, of course.
Dude, you're saying the rich. Sometimes, you know, riding my bike on the road and I see people smoking cigarettes, and this is not coming from a place where I have quit smoking, so now I'm judging other people for being smokers. But I would be like, holy shit, how are you affording 20 rupees per cigarette in this economy?
Oh my God.
I would constantly keep doing that. Which, by the way, someone can look at me and, oh, you bought a TV for 70,000? Fuck you, you know? Like, someone would absolutely feel that about me. Because
you bought a TV for 70,000? Okay, then.
Again, it was, can I tell you something? It was a big, the last time I went.
Did it come with like like the Netflix CEO? Like,
can I tell you something? Okay, you'll feel this is funny, but I settled for the 71. The TV I actually wanted was for 2,20,000.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And not because of size, because of this technology that I'm really into in TVs, but I'm not going to get into that.
No, I mean, I was just pulling your leg, please.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a chain. It's like a pyramid, you know, right now, like everybody...
Listen, at least you bought a television. I bought a designer bag. And what am I going to do with a designer bag except put things in it? Like, really.
Don't lie. How many jade rollers did you buy?
I really didn't. That's the thing. That's what I realized. One jade roller is too many jade rollers.
I never really asked you this, Sunetro. How did you feel about AliExpress being banned in India?
AliExpress wasn't banned in India.
Yeah, it's one of the apps that's been banned, no?
Who told you that?
Is it still working?
Yeah, darling.
When did you use it last? Because the last list of banned
So AliExpress wasn't because AliExpress is not so a large part of AliExpress does a lot of it's not like Shein where consumers only buy stuff, but AliExpress has a lot of large businesses have dependencies on AliExpress. So a lot of these shoe traders and garment traders, they buy stuff from there. So AliExpress wasn't mentioned in that list. So it wasn't specifically on that list.
I remember reading AliExpress and,
it
one
wasn't
of those,
in the official
I
list.
suddenly felt like, oh my God, I hope Sunetro's okay.
No, so here's the thing. The last thing I ordered was like a pair of earrings, like which was last month, and I got it a couple of weeks back. I got it I got it last month. Now I hear that there is a bit of an embargo on any shipments coming in from China. So it's not that AliExpress is banned. It's like anyone who's doing business in China, their stock is kind of held up.
Achha,
so that
I love the day TikTok got banned. How many friends reached out to me like, "Are you okay, Farhad?" I was like, "Oh!" And this is a huge year for TikTok because the first 2-3 months of the pandemic was consuming TikTok, and then 1 month was minimum dealing with the loss of it. It was an actual vacuum when I suddenly did not have TikTok. I just realized what a big part it was in the start of the pandemic. Like, I was spending hours on TikTok. It was a great feeling. Okay, I think we should take a quick break. And
let's come back and talk about what we want for the coming year.
2021. Okay, let's do that. See you on the other side.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. One more reminder, people, please go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and help us out. It will take you a couple of minutes to fill out this survey, but it really is very, very helpful for us. For the people who do fill out the survey and are willing to drop us their email address, we're going to do a special drawing and send out some IVM swag to everybody. So please do help us out with that. But what a week it's been on the network. There's so many things to talk to you all about. Let me run through some of the biggest highlights really, really quickly, right? So Sanjay Jha was on Cyrus Says. What an incredible conversation. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Check that out. We had Hansal Mehta on Marukinay's The Note talking about 1992 Scam. Amazing stuff. We had Vishal Gondal talking to Nikhil Advani about his career in film. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet spoke to Gunjan Arya, the CEO of OML, and Samiksha Unyal from Bacardi about the history of NH7, the Weekender Festival. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav had an amazing episode about the Bushmen of Kalahari. Begin the Journey, Ashish Vidyarthi talks about career choices. On Nankari, they talk about cake. What a fun show that was. And on This Round is on Me, we had Dr. Sanjay Arora talking to Gauri about Suburban Diagnostics and Company and what he sees as the future of healthcare in India. And for our Tamil speakers, if you haven't been checking out Sivakami and Sabatam, why haven't you? Please do go check that out. Kavita's doing an amazing job telling that story. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
And we're back. So we're talking about 2020 and 2021, and we spoke about 2020. So why don't we pause
What's in
dampening spirit? Let's look at what we want for the future.
Get into it. What are you hoping or seeing or envisioning for the next year?
Okay. I think I'm hoping for a better work culture. I think there are a lot of different things that have kind of, it's like this thing's been split wide open where it's very transparent. What are the things that, really we could do without? We really can do without 20 meetings that last half an hour, and 20 a meeting that people travel an hour for and can easily be done on like a video conference, and none of that kind of decreases the quality of the output,
the work itself. Yeah,
exactly. So
basically so many things are redundant, we realize.
So that is one thing that I think we need to be very, very clear about and careful about. And I think I'm hoping that it continues where we take the best from this time and kind of infuse our life going forward with elements of that. And of course, there are things that weren't working. For example, just like this absolute lack of division between what your personal time is and what your professional or official time is. Yeah. I think those are things that we can further try and hone, further try and perfect over time. And so I'm really hoping for a better work culture that works for people and that really helps people work better, because if you're fucked in the head, you can't work properly. So that's one thing I definitely wish
That's
for.
amazing that you started with the work thing because and personally what? Like I
You
love
say,
that point, by the way. I
yeah.
love that point because really, right? Like I I'm not kidding. I really was recently reading about how many people are actually suffering from anxiety, not that COVID or because of coronavirus, but because of having to go back to the life before they had
Mm.
before the
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah, yeah.
Because I feel it too. Like even though I started a job and all of that, like sometimes I love working from home. It is amazing. I am the
Yeah,
master of my own time.
yeah.
I can dedicate my own lunch time. I can have my own, like, maybe music and whatever I need, or the light, the kind of lighting, and
Mm.
not having to waste so much fuel to go to an establishment. I love all of it. I love all of
Yeah.
it. So I
Mm.
love that you started with that. And anything personally, like for yourself, like what do you want the year to like?
So I don't make wishes when it comes
Amazing.
to
Glad, because that was going to be
like,
my answer.
yeah, because like, that's not, I'm not like pining for something. The one thing that I will say is it's very important. Like I think 2021, I will make sure that I'm not taken for granted. And I will make sure that I return the favor, where I don't take anyone for granted, even by mistake, even by by virtue of um, you know just not being able to see the whole picture, for example. um, and yeah, like I think that's something that I would, because I've been very, very fortunate um, to be where I am today, to be in a healthy place today, because of a very, very strong support system. And I won't insult that circle by saying, I'm there for them. I think that the best way to kind of do this, of course, being there for them, but then also pass it on and pay it forward. And yeah, like I think just um, being, not taking people for granted, not being human. And I think that's something that I would like to kind of
I get it.
manifest.
For me, I don't know where to begin. But I just spent the first half of our episode talking about how this year was a huge learning, and I feel this ability to always, I hope that stays with me for the rest of my life, to always learn from a horrible situation and how to just move ahead with the best things that happen in the worst situation. I just wish I always had that ability, because it's eaten away at me like a fucking, this has been a huge part of my psychotherapy, where I easily get stuck. I easily get trapped. I easily I start running around in circles. I start like wallowing in my own, not pity. I've never pitied myself, but you know what I mean? I start like becoming counterproductive, and I become too like locked as an individual. I become, if at the moment there is a slight problem in my life, I immediately, I don't know why I thought of those armadillos. Yeah, I literally just curl up into like a ball and of a hard shell, and I like suddenly become so close. But this year, the more life threw my way, the more I seem to be open and just focusing on what's the good instead of what's the bad. And I hope I don't lose sight of that.
I'm so glad you see that. I'm so glad that's.
I really hope I don't. And so much so that things that have, I'll give you a tiny example. I live in a very old building in Bombay. So much so that little chunks and portions have started falling off. Like it started crumbling at the edges. Yeah. And we have to go into redevelopment probably within the year. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And for the longest time, you know what house hunting anxiety is like in Bombay. But, and I brought this up in the previous episode, it very naturally came to me that what a great time to change life up, to kind of like maybe consider moving to a different And the more I think about it, the more I feel stronger about doing something like that. I'm not like becoming close to something that is presenting itself to me. Like you said, right? Manifesting 2021. This is the manifesting part where I just am open to whatever. Like I don't feel anything will make me feel like this was a bad decision for us. As long as I just take I did the best I could at any given point, even if my best was minuscule. I really wish this is something I carry forward as an adult individual for a long time in my life without losing sight of this one. It's an invaluable personality trait. I hope it's become a personality trait of mine to not easily be shaken or like, get stuck all the time. So that's
really
one thing.
nice.
That's one thing I'm really looking forward to in the next year. Otherwise, I just want to start watching shit in 4K and 8K and HDR10 quality and play the best video games, because I also know that expecting anything, this is a classic example, right? Where, hey, life doesn't go the way you planned it ever. This year that's another great learning from this year. Like if life throws you a curveball, it will throw a fucking diarrhea balloon towards you.
That's the thing, that's one of the things for me for 2021. I think I took the year, I suffer from this incredible, and please don't take this as, tooting my horn. Actually, it's one of my severe fallacies that I keep working on. A severe perfectionist syndrome where I have to have things a particular way, and if it doesn't happen exactly that way, it just throws me off. It's simple. Like I'll give you the simplest of examples. If I called a plumber home, and if that plumber does not come at the time on the day that I asked him to come, I just lose my shit. Not in terms of angry. It would end up with me feeling like life's just a mistake. And I feel like I find myself in a space where I can't function because it's like, oh my God, everything's going out of control. And that's something that I've learned to work on this year, because like I was saying, for me, it's almost like I've learned that life doesn't work like a domino.
Not at all.
Not a set of dominoes where once this happens, only then will the next thing happen. Sure, things have to be rejigged, and that's one thing that I'm manifesting that I will be okay with going forward. And like so far so good. Like in the past 1 month or so far so good.
No, I'm so glad you said that, because I was surprised by my own reaction very recently. Exactly what you're saying with the plumber example. So I actually bought the TV on Tata Click. Okay. I had never heard of it, but then again, I was getting a great discount on Tata Click. So I was like, okay. And it said it will deliver within the next 11 days. Okay. On the 11th day, every day I'm tracking progress.
Oh my God.
Kabaiga.
Totally relate.
On the 11th day, I get a message saying your order has been shipped. Okay, I am ecstatic, and this is on this last Saturday. Okay, where I am fucking ecstatic that, oh my God, it's finally going to come today. My doorbell rings, and it's actually two guys without a TV. Okay, and they showed up at my doorstep to tell me that actually the seller did not have the TV, so they don't have the TV, basically. And I crashed, okay? Like, first I was like, I'll give them a terrible review, and what the fuck, how can they do that? They send me this message, and will my refund come on time? And what? I became this negative mess so soon.
Yes, like, I can totally relate to this.
But I'm not kidding. That feeling, which should have lasted for days, I literally found myself diffused that, what? Why don't you just check on Amazon? Why don't you just check on this? Amazon's delivering it in 2 days. You just have to wait for 2 days more. Relax. Like I instantly found myself getting myself out of a situation which earlier I would have wallowed in for hours. Why does this happen to me?
I completely get it. So middle of the pandemic, like once the rains were done, I bought myself a cycle, and As in a
with a helmet, without helmet.
listen.
I just want to imagine if your hair flies beautifully while riding a
like
cycle.
with I cycle like 20 to 30 kilometers every day. So
Oh my
like
God.
it's one of those like which like high intensity.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
so now
Wait, this is a stationary cycle or a? It's
what do you
like an
mean
actual
stationary?
cycle, like one of those home workout cycles.
No.
Okay,
It's
like
it's a
outside.
it's a racing bike. So it came without it. These racing bikes usually come without a stand. Like one of those. So it's because they're mountain bikes, and so I for the first 2 to 3 days I ordered a stand, and the stand, basically the tracking said that it would only arrive, let's say, in 10 days. And that fucking pissed me off. And I was like, I'm not going to touch this fucking cycle till the stand comes. And then I was like, to kya, matlab, who are you showing your anger to? Like, who the fuck is, gaining out of this? No one. And in fact, you are the one who's like an idiot, because you can easily go out. You don't need a stand to always, and it's like you can lift it with like 3 fingers. It's so light.
Oh my God, my brother has one of those. Yeah.
So it's not even like, oh my God, ye kahan pe lagega? You can just like park it like somewhere like against a wall and shit, dude. So I was like, you know what? Somewhere down the line, you have to stop whining and be the solution to your own problem that has come your way. Either you can do that, or you can continue just, wallowing in this.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm saying to have that kind of, I won't say sentience, but that kind of like, not even wisdom, because all those words make it sound like, oh, wow, so much as I have learned this year or whatever. But just the ability to now understand that, hey, life is not going to go your way. I really, everyone said, fuck you 2020, horrible 2020. I would say thank you 2020. Like I got that out of 2020.
No,
and just thanks.
I think that's what, like, I think, like, we both said we've been fortunate enough to have some good experiences and snippets out of 2020, and I think just using those experiences and say, when we are faced with any kind of adversity, just say, remember when you kind of did overcome something. And so just use that as a.
It is like having an antacid. Have you ever had like a Eno or something?
I am a Bengali. What do you? One second. I'm a Bengali. What do you think?
Pochforon powder.
We always have antacid with us. Okay.
I also learned this year that antacids actually make acidity worse.
I mean
except Eno. I don't know. I swear by Eno, but. I realize this
it's actually Eno. Like Eno is the one that people say, like, it makes it worse in the long run. Because
for me, I feel like it works better when before we veer into acidity, what I was trying to say was, so again, to give you the TV example, I instantly, within like these guys leaving, right, I fucking sped at this. I was like, at the speed of light, I was like, oh, motherfucker, this always happens to me. I try to explain to everyone that whenever I buy electronics, something has to go wrong and I'm cursed and it is because of this, and within somewhere, one drop or one coin fell into my head, which was, hey, you were jobless all these months, and look at you buying your first proper TV. Okay. And being in a position to be able to buy that. And it just dissipated. Like, Eno ho gaya psychology. Like, immediate relief. I just stopped being, I was sad, and then I allowed myself to be sad, and then I was like, you know what?
That's what when I said, allow yourself to go through the motions, but allow yourself to, if you don't allow yourself to go through the motions, then you don't come to a resolution.
Yeah. And all the fuckalness of this year will have meant nothing if you don't walk away from it with something.
Tell me something. Do you, in terms of letting newer experiences, what are the kind of newer experiences you are priming yourself for 2021? And by new experiences, I I'm splitting this chest wide open, like whatever comes to your mind, you know.
Okay, sure. Again, I'm looking to not be a Bombay person in 2021.
Got it.
I'm done. I really feel like, because I feel in some way, and I don't know if you felt it too, but living in such a clusterfuck of a city like Bombay, to suddenly see it quiet and to see it empty and to see it was amazing. Okay, I have to say that. It was amazing. But the moment it started getting back to normal, it started feeling crazy. Like, even though I've paid the same rent for the past 5 years, I suddenly felt like this rent is too much. I suddenly felt like the clanging of the mandir bells, temple bells under my house is too much. I felt like the azan is too loud. I felt like everything was, when it started making a comeback, every horn, everything, it was literally, it starts irritate, any kind of noise, any kind of this and all of that. And, you know, somewhere intrinsically in my mind, I want peace a little, even if it's just silence, you know. Coming to the next year, I really don't want to be a Bombay person anymore. I don't know why it's become such a strong feeling, and with every passing day that feeling is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I just wanted to be me, my cat, and my TV. And my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4.
That's the dream.
But that's one. I want to spend more time with my father. I want to say family, but my father is a big for the next year. Like, I really, because and as we taper towards the end of this episode, I don't want to make it serious, but I am literally seeing my father's bulb go dim as dementia takes over his life. Like, I'm literally seeing his eyes become vacant. I'm literally seeing his memories wipe out in real time. And I want to make sure that I am there, you know, like, I know it's something, it could be the worst thing. It could be the worst thing to put myself through, to see my dad like that, you know, but something tells me, do it. Just do it, you know. And if for nothing, just as a thank you for thank you to him for being the father he was to me. I just want to do that one simple thing for him, which is just be near him and around him and feed him good food and just be able to take care of him, because he has done that for me for my entire life. So he's a big bubble for 2021, like a big priority.
That's good.
And writing. I wish I hope great. I write a lot next year. And so much so, you know, again, I feel for a lot of, and I'm not just going to keep this limited to creative people, but a lot of us stall on realizing our personal goals, like achievements, like whether it's writing a book or making your next movie or like whatever it is, we are creating your next painting, whatever it is, there is that voice in your head that tells you, because you're good at it, you don't do it even more and more and more and more. But now I feel like that I have somehow, that voice is losing power in my head. That if I really want to do something, I should just do it instead of constantly putting it off for later on. So I hope that happens with writing next year. And I know it will happen, because I just want to disarm this side of me that constantly is a hurdle to my own well-being and my own growth and my own this. I literally just want to like take away that person's weapons, you know, chop his fucking arms off. Like, that's it. Like, I want to get done with that person so that I'm just open to constantly growing. Sometimes I'll grow into a negative direction, a bad direction. Maybe things won't work out. Sometimes I will grow in a good direction. But I just know that growth will be constant. And I feel that's my word for 2021. That's my manifestation for 2021. Growth. Personal growth. Yeah. Oof, that was my monologue. Come on, tell me, hit me, Sunetro. 2021.
What
are you hoping to get out of it? What are you hoping to like? And again, it's not something you might have like thought of or you want, or assume that it's going to happen, but what do you want out of it? What do you wish came out of it?
Okay, so I think I've kind of I've been very, and we've spoken about this a lot of times, where I've been very, very happy living in this, functioning as an ivory tower. And I've always feared that, I don't know if I have the bandwidth to handle more than just me, at this point of time. And because of whatever anxiety and this and that and shit that happens in my life. And, but I think, and that's one of the reasons why I've always been, I absolutely love animals, and I love dogs, and I've always wanted a dog, and I've always been postponing it because my reason, and I wouldn't even say excuse, my genuine reason was that I don't know if I have the emotional bandwidth, because it's a child and you have to give enough to the child. So, but now I know that if I keep thinking that, the time will never come.
Yeah,
because I know
you'd make a fantastic nurturer.
And I know I will, and it just needs to start. And so, like, I think that's one thing that I want to manifest in 2021, like, having my own baby and like,
can I manifest one thing for you?
Yeah,
on your behalf.
Sure.
I really wish that you get to travel way more than you could this year. I know how much you love traveling.
Yeah.
I really wish that for you. I really do.
I hope so too. I really,
from a very
really
deep
do.
place, I really do. Not that before I did not, but it's just now
Yeah.
I know. Because so many of my friends who are travelers, I've always been very vocal about not being a traveler or seeing the appeal of learning about myself by roaming the world and all of that. No. But I have friends, and you are one of those people who I know whose life is constantly enriched by travel. And you actively make it a part of your life, if not yearly. I think more than once a year you try to.
I do. I try.
Yeah. I wish all of that happens for you next year.
Touch wood. I mean, I have fingers crossed. I would really hope so too. And it's not even about like massive travels. For me, it's just about finding pockets of peace and finding pockets of myself and newer experiences. And and yeah, like that's something
inner travel.
I like outer travel too. So yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm really, really hoping for. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Let's look forward to 2021 and see
by the way, I've always been vocal about not liking alcohol, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a lot, but I've had a little champagne this month.
Okay.
On 2-3 occasions. And yeah, I kind of like champagne. It's cute. I like the vibe.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Because, when you said here's to 2021, I suddenly imagined us clinking glasses and then I suddenly remembered champagne. Like, I thought, wow, okay, it's not that bad. It's not
we can go out for a drink, like, finally.
I would love that. Although you are buying the champagne, okay, bitch? I spend all my money on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah. We're done. Okay. Yeah. That is amazing.
So looking forward to a lovely 2021, and I wouldn't even say lovely. I think just an interesting 2021. I know there will be ups and downs, but let's live with the ups.
Just being
learn
in
from
2021.
The downs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And fuck, I wish that for all our listeners. Hi.
That's what.
That's for everyone.
And that's what I mean. We're a couple of days away from the new year, so we wish you all the same things.
I'm imagining Oprah just yelling at everyone. You get a 2021. You get a 2021. Sabko 2021. Lelo.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I guess that's it for this week.
Yep.
Thanks, Sunetro. You were a huge part of my 2020. I must end with that. Hi.
Oh, likewise.
Think about it. Yeah. This is one of our highlights of the week. And where days melted into each other and days blended into each other. I know one of the ways I knew how weeks were working was when the podcast recording would happen.
True.
I would know, oh, okay, we are on Friday, we are on Thursday.
Absolutely. It gave us a sense of purpose and routine. Like, it did.
Thanks for everything.
Likewise.
And thanks to everyone for listening. We will again maybe see you once before the year ends and then in the new year for sure.
Yeah.
That's it from me, and I'll see you soon. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IBM website, IBM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from.
Namaskar, dear friends. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi. Life, as you know, is a journey. And you and I, travelers, how can we celebrate this travel? I have a podcast for you, Begin the Journey. I share stories and moments from my life. Do tune in every Monday and Thursday to listen to my podcast on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from. Cheers.